Welcome to the Rise Up podcast. This is the show where we dive into powerful ideas and practical lessons that inspire, energize, and help you grow. Today, we're exploring a deep and meaningful topic: how to approach love in a smarter, more thoughtful way. Love isn't just about feeling good. It's about making conscious choices that truly connect us with others and ourselves. If you're someone who enjoys taking notes or wants to follow along more closely, we've prepared a PDF transcript of this episode just for you. You can find it linked in the description, so be sure to check it out if you need it. Now, let's get into today's episode and talk about how we can all love smarter, not harder. Hey there, everyone. Let's take a little time to talk about something we all experience but don't always think deeply about: love. Not the kind of love you see in movies where everything's picture perfect, but the everyday kind. The kind that can be complicated, frustrating, and honestly, really hard to do right. You know, most of us think of love as this natural thing. Like, you see someone you care about and boom, you just know what to do. But here's the truth: love isn't always instinctive. Sometimes it takes more than good intentions. Sometimes it takes what I like to call smart love. Now, what does that even mean? Well, let's start with an example. Say your kid or a young family member gets sick with a cold. You're worried, of course, so you run to the pharmacy, grab some medicine, and bring it home. That's love, right? Absolutely. But what if you took it a step further? What if you paused for a second to check the ingredients, maybe looked up whether it's safe for kids their age, or even asked the pharmacist if there's a better option? See, that's what I mean by smart love. It's not just doing something out of care or worry, it's putting thought into it. It's about making sure your actions are as helpful as possible. And yeah, I get it, it's more work. It's way easier to just grab the first thing you see and hope for the best. But when you take that extra step, you're not just showing love, you're showing that you care enough to think things through. This kind of love isn't always easy. In fact, it can be pretty inconvenient. Let's be honest, sometimes we just want to take the quick route. We're tired, busy, or distracted. But love, real love, isn't about convenience. It's about connection. It's about saying, hey, you matter enough for me to put in a little extra effort. And here's where it gets even trickier. Love doesn't just mean doing things for others. It also means respecting their boundaries. That's a tough one, isn't it? Especially when you're the one who needs help. Let's say you're in a tight spot. Maybe you need money or advice or just someone to listen. You reach out to a friend or family member and they say no. How does that feel? Probably not great, right? It's natural to feel hurt or disappointed. But here's the thing. Their time, their energy, their money, it's theirs. They have every right to say no, just like you have the right to say no when someone asks you for something. And that's a part of smart love too. Understanding that love isn't about control or obligation. It's about choice. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been on the other side of that situation? Someone asks you for help, but you just can't do it. Maybe you don't have the time or the resources, or you're dealing with your own stuff, and then they get upset with you. It doesn't feel great, does it? It's easy to forget that when we're the ones asking for help, but it's important to remember that love goes both ways. So here's a little reminder. When someone says no, it doesn't mean they don't care about you. It just means they have their own limits, and that's okay. In fact, respecting those limits is one of the best ways to show love. And you know what's interesting? When you live your life with that kind of understanding and respect, people notice. They see that you're someone who doesn't demand, who doesn't guilt or pressure. And because of that, they're more likely to show up for you when you really need it. It's like this ripple effect. The more you give freely without expecting anything in return, the more others want to give back to you. Think about the people in your life who have gone out of their way for you. Maybe it was a teacher who stayed late to help, or a friend who showed up when you were having a tough time, or even a stranger who lent a hand when you least expected it. Now, ask yourself, are you that kind of person for others? Do people see you as someone they can count on? That's what smart love is all about. It's about creating relationships built on trust, respect, and genuine care. And let's talk about the everyday stuff too. Smart love isn't just for big, life-changing moments. It's in the little things. Checking in on a friend who seems off, helping a coworker who's swamped, or even just being patient when someone's having a bad day. It's also about giving yourself some love. Yeah, you heard me. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? Taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. When you're in a good place mentally and emotionally, you're better able to show up for the people you care about. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Love isn't just a feeling, it's an action. It's a choice we make every single day. And when we choose to love smarter, with intention, respect, and thoughtfulness, we make our relationships stronger. We make our lives richer. And yeah, it's not always easy, sometimes it's downright hard, but isn't that what makes it worth it? The best things in life usually take a little effort. So let's all try to love a little smarter. Let's be the kind of people who lift others up, who give freely, and who respect the boundaries that make love real and lasting. Because at the end of the day, love isn't about perfection. It's about connection. And that's something we can all work on. Smart one day at a time. And that wraps up today's episode of the Rise Up podcast. I hope this conversation about smart love gave you something to think about. Whether it's pausing before you act, respecting boundaries, or giving without expecting anything in return. Love is a skill we can all practice and improve, and it's one of the most powerful tools we have to create a meaningful life. Don't forget, the PDF transcript of this episode is available in the description for anyone who might find it helpful. If today's episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who might need to hear it too. Thank you so much for tuning in, and remember, love smarter, live stronger. I'll see you next time on the Rise Up podcast.